Genghis Khan, synonymous with conquest, forged the largest land empire in history. From the steppes of Mongolia, his armies swept across Asia and Europe. The Mongol Empire, at its peak, stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Danube River. Trade routes flourished under Mongol rule. The Mongol military machine was highly disciplined and mobile. Their mastery of horsemanship and archery made them formidable on the battlefield. The Mongols were adept at siege warfare. They utilized innovative tactics and weaponry. However, the empire's vast size made it difficult to govern. The seeds of its decline were sown at its height. The death of Genghis Khan in 1227 CE created a power vacuum at the heart of the Mongol Empire. The question of succession was critical. Genghis Khan designated his third son, Ogadai, as heir, but the process faced challenges. The vast empire and ambitions created tensions. Dividing inheritance among sons threatened unity. Other sons and grandsons held power. This led to rivalry and conflict. Ogadai consolidated power and expanded the empire. He led successful campaigns in Europe and China. His reign was short-lived. His death in 1241 CE led to another succession crisis. The cycle of uncertainty and conflict repeated. The lack of a clear succession system plagued the empire. Each power transition risked civil war. This instability weakened the empire from within. The succession struggles following Ogadai's death led to a period of intense internal conflict. Rival factions within the Mongol royal family vied for control. The empire was increasingly fractured by power struggles. The unity forged by Genghis Khan began to unravel. The ensuing conflicts weakened the empire significantly. The struggle for power often pitted brother against brother. This fratricide further destabilized the empire. Ambition and the pursuit of personal gain fueled these conflicts. The well-being of the empire as a whole was often neglected. The consequences of these internal struggles were devastating. They diverted resources and attention away from external threats. One of the most significant conflicts was between Batu Khan, leader of the Golden Horde, and Guyuk Khan, Ogadai's son. Their rivalry threatened to tear the empire apart. The power struggle between these two powerful figures highlighted the deep divisions within the Mongol ranks. This internal strife weakened the empire's ability to respond to external challenges. The sheer size and diversity of the Mongol Empire presented enormous administrative challenges. Governing such a vast territory with diverse populations proved incredibly difficult. The Mongols lacked experience in administering a complex empire. They initially relied on existing local administrations. This approach had its limitations. Communication across the vast distances of the empire was slow and often unreliable. Maintaining control and coordinating policies across different regions was a constant struggle. The Mongol rulers often struggled to impose their will on distant provinces. The logistical challenges were immense. The vastness of the empire hindered effective governance. The Mongols, traditionally nomadic warriors, lacked a sophisticated bureaucratic system. They initially relied on conquered peoples to administer the empire. This reliance on local officials created opportunities for corruption and inefficiency. The lack of a centralized and efficient bureaucracy hampered the empire's ability to function effectively. This administrative weakness contributed to its decline. The lack of a uniform legal system undermined the empire's authority. The Mongol conquests, while initially enriching the empire, eventually led to economic difficulties. The costs of maintaining a vast army and administering a sprawling empire were substantial. The Mongols relied heavily on plunder and tribute from conquered territories. This system was not sustainable in the long term. The empire's finances became strained. Overextension of the empire's resources contributed to its economic woes. The Mongols controlled vast territories, but their resources were spread thin. Maintaining control over such a large area required a massive military presence. This placed a heavy burden on the empire's finances. The cost of maintaining the empire began to outweigh the benefits. The decline of trade along the Silk Road further exacerbated the economic problems. Internal conflicts and the fragmentation of the empire disrupted trade routes. This disruption had a negative impact on the empire's economy. The Mongol economic system, based primarily on conquest and plunder, was not conducive to long-term stability. This economic weakness made the empire vulnerable to external shocks and contributed to its decline. As the Mongol Empire weakened internally, it faced increasing threats from external enemies. The Mamluks of Egypt defeated the Mongols at the Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260. The rise of the Ming dynasty in China posed a serious threat to the Yuan dynasty. This culminated in the overthrow of the Yuan dynasty in 1368. In the west, the Golden Horde faced pressure from the rising power of Moscow. They eventually threw off Mongol rule. The empire, once seemingly invincible, was gradually being chipped away from all sides. The vast Mongol Empire eventually fragmented into several independent khanates. These khanates pursued their own interests. They often clashed with each other. The unity of the empire was shattered. The once cohesive Mongol power was now divided. This fragmentation further weakened the Mongols. The Golden Horde in Russia, the Ilkhanate in Persia, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, and the Yuan dynasty in China emerged as independent entities. These khanates, while sharing a common Mongol heritage, often pursued divergent policies. They engaged in conflicts with each other. This further destabilized the region. The fragmentation of the empire led to a decline in Mongol power and influence. The individual khanates lacked the strength and resources of the unified empire. They were more vulnerable to external threats and internal strife. The breakup of the empire marked a significant turning point in Mongol history. The rise of these independent khanates marked the end of the unified Mongol Empire. The decline of the Mongol Empire was a gradual process. It was driven by a combination of internal and external factors. The succession crises, internal conflicts, administrative challenges, and economic difficulties all contributed to the empire's weakening. The Mongol dominance began to wane. The empire's foundations were crumbling. The once feared Mongol armies were no longer the invincible force they once were. Internal divisions and the loss of experienced leaders weakened their military effectiveness. The Mongols faced increasing resistance from their enemies. They struggled to maintain their territorial control. The decline of the Mongol military marked a significant shift in power dynamics. The lack of effective governance further weakened the empire. The overextension of the empire's resources and the disruption of trade routes led to economic difficulties. These economic problems further weakened the empire and made it more vulnerable to external threats. As the Mongol Empire fragmented and declined, the Mongols themselves began to assimilate into the cultures of the lands they had conquered. This process of cultural assimilation further weakened their distinct identity and contributed to the decline of their power. The Mongols, once a distinct cultural group, began to blend into the local populations. In China, the Yuan dynasty adopted many Chinese customs and traditions. Kublai Khan, the founder of the Yuan dynasty, embraced Chinese culture and employed Chinese advisors. This assimilation into Chinese culture eventually led to the overthrow of the Yuan dynasty by the Ming dynasty. The Mongols lost their distinct identity in China. In Persia, the Ilkhans converted to Islam and adopted Persian customs. This cultural transformation further weakened their connection to their Mongol roots. The Ilkhanate gradually disintegrated into smaller states. The process of cultural assimilation varied across the different khanates, but in each case, it contributed to the decline of Mongol power and the eventual disappearance of the Mongols as a distinct ruling class. Despite its eventual decline, the Mongol Empire left a lasting impact on world history. The Mongols facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies across Eurasia. They connected East and West. This fostered a period of cross-cultural interaction. The Mongol Empire played a significant role in shaping global history. The Mongol conquests reshaped the political landscape of Eurasia. They led to the rise and fall of empires and the redrawing of borders. The Mongol legacy is complex and multifaceted. It includes both positive and negative aspects. The Mongol Empire left an indelible mark on the world. The Mongols' brutal conquests caused immense suffering and destruction, but they also inadvertently facilitated cultural exchange and technological diffusion. The Mongol Empire's impact is still felt today. It is a reminder of the power of conquest and the interconnectedness of world history. The Mongol Empire remains a fascinating and controversial topic of historical inquiry. The Mongol Empire, though long gone, continues to resonate in the modern world. Its legacy can be seen in the political geography of Eurasia, the spread of certain technologies, and the continued cultural exchange between East and West. The Mongol Empire's influence extends beyond its historical time frame. The Mongol conquest facilitated the transmission of gunpowder technology from China to Europe. This had a profound impact on warfare and the balance of power in the West. The Mongols inadvertently contributed to the development of modern weaponry. Their conquest had unintended consequences. The Mongol Empire's legacy is a reminder of the interconnectedness of world history. Events in one part of the world can have far-reaching consequences in other parts. The Mongols, through their conquests and interactions with different cultures, played a significant role in shaping the globalized world we live in today. The study of the Mongol Empire provides valuable insights into the dynamics of empire building, cultural exchange, and the complexities of historical change.